All right, boys and girls, I got my book in the mail, The 100 Dresses. It's written by Eleanor Estes. I'm doing one take, so if I mess up, you guys will just have to deal with it. The 100 Dresses. Chapter 1. Wanda. Today, Monday, Wanda Petrosky was not in her seat, but nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. Usually, Wanda sat in the next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks on their report cards sat. The corner of the room where the most scuffling of feet, the most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and the most mud and dirt on the floor. Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. And nobody had even heard her laugh out loud. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, but that was all. Nobody knew exactly why Wanda sat in that seat unless it was because she came all the way from Boggan's Heights, and her feet were usually caked with dry mud that she had picked up coming down the country roads. Maybe the teacher liked to keep all the children who were apt to come in with dirty shoes in one corner of the room. But no one really thought much about Wanda Petrosky once she was in the classroom. The time they thought about her was outside of school hours, at noontime when they were coming back to school, or in the morning, early before school began, when groups of 2 or 3 or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the schoolyard. Sometimes they waited for Wanda to have fun with her. The next day, Tuesday, Wanda was not in school either, and nobody noticed her absence again, except the teacher and probably Big Bill Byron, who sat in the seat behind Wanda's and who could now put his long legs around her empty desk, one on each side, and sit there like a frog, to the great entertainment of all in his corner of the room. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, who sat in the front row, along with the other children who got good marks and didn't track in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Wanda wasn't there. Peggy was the most popular girl in school. She was pretty, she had pretty clothes, and her auburn hair was curly. Maddie was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Wanda's absence was because Wanda had made them late for school. They had waited and waited for Wanda to have some fun with her, and she just hadn't come. They kept thinking she'd come any minute. They saw Jack Bagels running to school, his necktie askew and his cap had a precarious tilt. They knew it must be late, for he always managed to slide into his chair exactly when the bell rang, as though he were making a touchdown. Still, they waited 1 minute more, and 1 minute more, hoping she'd come, but finally they had to race off without seeing her. The 2 girls had reached their classroom after the doors had closed, the children reciting in unison the Gettysburg Address, and for that was the way Ms. Mason always began the session. Peggy and Maddie slipped into their seats as the class was saying the last lines. That these dead shall not have died in vain, that the nation shall, under God, have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from earth. The end of chapter 1. I'll bring y'all chapter 2 tomorrow.